Mr. Aman Mittal online with us for our next key address. Aman Mittal is Additional Director and Head of the Marketing and International Affairs of Lovely Professional University, an engineer and an MBA graduate from the University of Southampton, UK. Mittal is instrumental in driving universities' internalization strategy, universities' overall growth and marketing strategy, and harnessing information technology for university governance. He has led LPU's growth and marketing endeavor, both nationally and internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Aman Mittal.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope, the first thing that you ask when you're doing a virtual campaign is, can you hear me well? So I think I'm going to start with the same thing. Can you hear me well? Please. Yes. I hope you're able to hear me well. Yes. So, unfortunately, I could not be in Chennai. I've been told that it's a very interesting event that College Dunia is hosting in Chennai. And I really wanted to be there in Chennai and be there with all of you lovely people who have come from all across the Tamil Nadu and other states of the country. But because of some reasons, I have to cancel the plan. I could not join you face-to-face in Chennai. But I think now this is the new normal, and we have been teaching to such a large student body online. So I think when I spoke to Sanjay that can we do this online, I'm not able to travel. He said, yeah, why not, sir? So I think it's glad to addressing or talking to you over the online platform today as well. I know from since morning you've been listening about the new normal and COVID and how things are moving, and I don't want to talk more about it. I think everybody, every university, every education institution has done their best to see that we deliver the education. Though the COVID has stopped the colleges or closed the colleges, but the education should not stop anyways. And that has been the strength of the Indian higher education system, that though the universities, colleges, schools were shut, but the education was not shut at all. And I think we should say that we need to give the kudos and huge round of applause to our faculty and though the management is their responsibility to ensure that the education should not stop, but it's the faculty who has worked so hard in ensuring that education should not stop at all. So I would say kudos to all the faculties who have been teaching all across the country for the students. They have their own kids, their own families. In some cases, they don't have the liberty of too many rooms. Their husbands are also working or their wives are also working. So I think in such a constraints, they were still able to deliver the education. So kudos to all the faculty members who have done so well during this pandemic. When I was speaking to Sanjay, I said, what should be the topic? And he said that the topic should be, is digital is the way forward? I said, I don't think so. That should be a question even now. After spending those almost a year in COVID, the question is digital a way forward is not a question. I mean, digital is the way forward for a lot of things. And I can tell you that at LPU, at Lovely Professional University, we already had a digital first approach from the very beginning with respect to the marketing. And we have been using technology a lot in delivering of education. So we have adopted the technology first approach in our marketing strategy and also in the delivery of education from really long time. And that's how we have an association with College Dunia, which is pretty old. I think we would be the very few first clients who said, okay, we want to work digitally with players like College Dunia and say, okay, let's test the market. We have been working with various other education platforms previously as well, but when College Dunia came in, I said, this looks like a very interesting model and a very aggressive team. And we went ahead, and I think I can tell you that the digital journey of the marketing digital journey has been phenomenal over the last few years. And I was just few minutes back, I was speaking to, I was taking a review of particular campaigns, and there was a question being asked that, are we missing on the leads that we used to generate through our television campaigns or the print campaigns. And we were doing some study around that. And we realized that no, over the years, I don't say that those mediums are not important, but I think their functionality has changed. Previously, when you used to give it the print ad, you used to put that large phone number or toll-free number and say that, okay, call at this number. But now, in our perspective, the TV and print is used more as a pushing the last dates or creating the brand awareness and asking the users to come online. And then I think it's very important when the user is online, you are providing you are there first of all, and then you're providing the right experience. So I think we are not missing upon the leads if we have reduced the print campaigns. But I think we need to understand that print or television is important, but we need to use those tools in a very different fashion than what we are doing, what we used to do it before. And similar is with the television. And then comes, because I'm talking to a lot of marketing or marketeers here, so I'll kind of stick my discussion around that. And also, I think it's important that we should have a very clear funnel approach. Just speaking with my admission team head, and we were discussing about how's the performance going. I think it's important that we look at the full funnel approach, where we say that how we are pushing the funnel down with the response has been generated or the leads have been generated, but how are they being converted? I mean, this question we should be asking to our operation team every time that, okay, you've given me 1,000 leads or 10,000 leads or 1,000 leads, but how we are able to convert them. And I think that's something which we need to evaluate on daily basis. And we have been working with players like College Dunia. We know that how aggressive they are when we give them a feedback and say that this particular campaign needs to be looked into. And they immediately come back to us and say, okay, these are the changes which we are proposing. So I think it's important that please give the feedback to the players that, okay, this is working or this is not working. And you need to see that what campaigns are doing. And I would strongly suggest that there is something called Google Analytics, which is a kind of free tool available to everyone. Please look into that data every time when you go online. It's important to see that data and check out that, okay, where are my sources, where my audience is coming through, and what are the conversions that's happening. I was again a few days back, we were discussing about in a webinar that are the academicians or deans should be able to take the decision based on the data. I said, doesn't really matter, they should be able to do it or not, but that's their duty. These are the academicians who are the leaders as well in their particular schools or faculty. They have to take the decision based on data, because we all know that a data-driven approach where the decision is taken with respect to the data is the most important aspect of it. So again, I would tell everybody that whenever we are looking at some kind of analysis of the performance, please look in the data. Just don't say it is not working well or it is not working for me or what is happening, I don't know. I think the technology has provided us so much of data, but we don't spend enough time to look into the data. It is good time that we should start working on the data approach phenomenally and say that, okay, this is working and this is not working with us. And I think the starting point is the Google Analytics tool in which we can do that. And I think I can tell you in LPU, we have been doing that very phenomenally. And today we have more than 30,000 students studying with us, coming from all 28 states of the country and 28 states of the country and 50 countries. I mean, all this has been able to do that because we've been able to see where's the right response coming up, what programs are delivering. And I think it's important that we should see that data points to get those kind of responses. Another point which I want to talk about is that when we are dealing with the admission teams, we should start talking about the conversion rate than just the absolute number of the number, the admissions. We should always talk about that. Okay, how the number of admissions and conversions looking at. And I think that's something which is important with respect to any marketing campaigns that we're doing. That really helps you to have a good control of the quality that's coming up. And I can tell you, Dunya was doing fantastic job in that. You need to work with the team more closely, and we can see a huge response. But we need to work with the team. You just cannot be saying that, okay, this is not working for us. We need to start working with the team back in Dunya to get those results. I want to pause here, and I want to see if you have any questions around whatever we have discussed so far. If there is any question that you want to be taken up so far. So Rajat, if you can help me, if there's to see that if there are any questions that an audience have so far on the points that we have discussed.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Dr. Sandeep Gandhi from Kalinga University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. I would not ask the financial terms, but I just want to understand in percentage terms, how much money do you devote to digital methods of advertising and to the conventional methods? In percentage terms, how much of your marketing budget goes into digital?
Thank you, Sandeep ji, for asking this question, and you have made my job a little easy by saying that, okay, don't put the numbers to it. So thank you for that. I can tell you that the story when post-COVID has suddenly changed a lot. I mean, we used to spend a lot of money on the print as well as the television media pre-COVID. I mean, I would say 2019 batch, the ratio of money spent was almost 65-35. 65 was on the print and television, and almost 35 was on the online media. In 2020, we have looked at almost 70-30 ratio, where 70% was spent on the digital media and 30% was spent on the offline, I mean the other TV media and the print media. So you can see that we almost flipped. And 2021, we're hoping it to be, though either to maintaining the 2020 number of 70-30 or maybe going to 75-25. But I think the online spend would go a little up. It may not go down. It's not that I don't promote or don't believe in print media or television media. They are absolutely important when you're doing the campaigns. We should not ignore them at all. But again, as I said before, that we need to see that we use them little differently what we used to use them a year back or 2 years back, because in our industry the campaigns are generally in the month of April till July. So we've used the campaign almost like 1.5 years back or 2 years back. So I think it's important to use them differently. But I would be saying that the spend on digital media would be increasing phenomenally. I mean, it has already increased and touched 70% in case of LPU. I'm sure for other players also it would be lying in a similar range. Rajat, is there any other question that we have from the audience now?
Yes, we have one more question. Hi sir, it was great interacting with you. Myself Rohit Rana, and I am from St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. I just wanted to know, what is your vision of growth for LPU? Is it coming into multiple campuses, or growing the number of students, or introducing courses like MBBS?
So thanks, Rohit. I got your name, Rohit, right? So see, at this moment, LPU is growing at we have scaled pretty much on the students number. We have more than 30,000 students in one campus, and we don't intend to increase the student numbers now. Our whole intent is to increase the number of applications or number of students applying to our different programs. Number one is that we want to increase the number of applications. Number two intent is that right now LP is known more for the engineering and the MBA programs, or more of technology programs like agriculture. We have a very strong of agriculture, very large number of applications coming for agriculture programs, for engineering programs, for business programs. And the other growth area is that how we can increase the applications in another area. I'm not sure if too many of you know that we have a very good fashion school and hotel management school and design school and architecture school. Our pharmacy school is among the top 30 in the country as per the NIF ranking. So I think the next growth would be to ensure that these individual programs, they also become part of the mainframe program, and we are able to increase the applications there. Regarding opening of the more campuses, so far we are not looking at opening of any new campuses in India, but if there is a great opportunity lies with the support of the government, we might look at it, but so far we are not looking at it. Medical is definitely on our cards. We definitely want to open up a medical school soon, but I think we are just waiting for the right regulatory framework to be established, and I think medical is something which we definitely would like to get into in future. So I think these are the 4 areas of growth that LP is looking at.
So this is Professor Suresh. I just have a question. What's the cost of acquisition of a student from your experience? Some kind of rough percentage?
Sureshji, I think it's a very tough question that you've asked. And that's the question on which everybody is struggling on, that how we can decrease the cost of acquisition for the program, for students. I would say, though it would vary from program to program, but I would say it will vary from 10% to 15% of the first semester's fees for the program. I would, because in the end, for us, the cost of acquisition depends also on the number of applications we are able to get into the system. So our intent is to get the right number of applications so that we can filter out some students from there, or large number of students from there. And so we have our own entrance test called LPU Nest. So National Eligibility and Scholarship Test, LPU National Eligibility Scholarship Test. So our whole intent is not to look at the number of enrollments that we want to do it, but whole intent now is to increase the number of applications that we get into this system. So that's why probably our cost per acquisition would be a little higher, because we want to increase our number of applications in this system. But I think it would vary from 10 to 15% of the first semester fees. This would be the average numbers I could be talking about, but it could really vary from program to program.
Thank you very much.
So I want to thank you everyone for listening to me, and I was able to showcase in a quick viewpoint about my intent about how the digital marketing and how the digital sphere would look like. But I think I also want to talk about the digital education. I think digital education, a lot of people are talking about only online education media, but I'm not. I'm talking about a lot of blended learning. So I think blended learning would exist, but not, they cannot erode into the campus life, because campus life provides a lot of experience to the students which online education cannot provide. So I'm not a huge fan of saying that online education is going to replace the offline education. I think both of them going to coexist. Probably there would be a different target segment for the offline education, or a face-to-face education, or in-campus education, and a different target audience for the online education. Probably a different set of expectations from these programs. So that's my last take on the online education. But thank you, College Dunia, for having me here and allowing me to present my thoughts online. And thank you, audience, for listening to me. I know the fag end of the day is very exhaustive, but thank you for listening to me patiently. Thank you, College Dunia, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Aman Sikka for sharing his valuable insights. Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you here. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.